What is going on, everybody? Well, Swift, as we know, the payments messaging network that pretty much handles the majority of money in the world, continuously showing their hand. A month or two ago, we saw blockchain wallets being integrated in November. Now we are seeing more initiatives in cryptocurrency leading us towards November. Essentially, you're going to have digital assets and cryptos flowing through the Swift network starting in November. So this just came out on July 22nd. This is MT 300, 304, 305, and 306, which are essentially like messaging acronyms through Swift. This is category 3, so treasury markets, foreign exchange, money markets, and derivatives. This is dealing very much so in foreign exchange, but let's pay attention to this, and this is just very interesting. Address the business need of identifying a non-ISO currency. So add support for confirming and setting non-deliverable foreign exchange trades and options in digital currencies that do not have ISO 4217 currency codes. ISO 4217 currency codes are pretty much what you would have like for the US dollar or the euro or any national fiat currency, right? Those are 4217. The digital currency will be always be non-deliverable. We'll go over that in a second. So there's no requirement to specify its settlement instructions. We will go over that in a second here, but here's what we're getting into. They're talking about digital token identifiers for a non-deliverable trade, which we'll go over between fiat or a fiat currency, ISO 4217, and a digital token. Now, this is where you know it's crypto. The DTI may be an ISO 24165 identifier. A description of the DTI may optionally be included. ISO 24165 is 1000% cryptocurrency. We can see here again, this is July 22nd. ISO 24165, registration, assignment, and structure. Defining the assignment generation to a random, unique, fixed length identifier for digital tokens, etc., one-to-one, etc. So down here, they're talking about Bitcoin, for example, has been traditionally identified as BTC, but XBT has also come in handy. Now, ISO 24165 that deals in crypto, this standard is being implemented by an organization called E-Trading Software, the registration authority of that ISO framework, which will issue digital tokens, identifiers, and maintain them in a publicly accessible central registry on their website. Well, this is E-Trading Software. This is the DTI Foundation has proactively issued identifiers for the top 100 cryptos by market cap, thereby enabling all major cryptocurrencies to be tracked, including Bitcoin, Ether, Tether, and XRP. E-Trading Software has launched the tracking of all digital assets on a global basis with the service that issues identifiers for tokens based on the new ISO standard. The digital token identifier is a key building block to upgrade the financial market plumbing to process digital asset trades safely and with appropriate oversight. Obviously, pretty massive stuff here. This is talking about, again, ISO 24165. This is through issanet.org. Talking about the method and registration, talking about the unique identifiers. But here's where we get really interesting, and this deals in ISO 20022 as well. A partnership between ETS and Association of National Numbering Agencies established, blah, blah, blah. Together, the DTI, which we just talked about, and ISIN will form a bridge between the traditional and tokenized financial world infrastructures used to process financial instruments with the overall aim of achieving interoperability and all the greater advantages this enables. The two identifiers will complement each other, and that the ISIN is the identifier for the reference data of the asset, and the DTI will be the technical identifier of the token location. Potentially also the classification of financial instruments, etc. This is also where ISO 20022 standard for information exchange between financial parties comes into play. All ISO 20022 securities messages, whether for settlement, asset servicing, and collateral management, can include the above mentioned ISO standards, including the DTI, the digital token identifier, right? I mean, this is pretty crazy stuff here, guys. I mean, we 100% are going to have crypto integrated from a foreign exchange standpoint. Now, I want to get into this. No requirement to specify its settlement instruction because it's non-deliverable. I'm pretty positive that this is dealing in non-deliverable forwards through SWIFT, okay? A non-deliverable forward is a two-party currency derivatives contract to exchange cash flows between the non-deliverable forward and prevailing spot rates. Now, non-deliverable forwards are traded over the counter and commonly quoted for time periods from up 1 month up to a year, etc. I don't know if that necessarily applies, but usually executed offshore. This is kind of where it's interesting, meaning outside the home market of the illiquid or untraded currency. For example, if a country's currency is restricted from moving offshore, it won't be possible to settle the transaction in that currency with someone outside the restricted country. However, the two parties can settle the NDF by converting all profits and losses on the contract to a freely traded currency. They can then pay each other the profit/losses in that freely traded currency. That said, non-deliverable forwards are not limited to illiquid markets or currencies. They can be used by parties looking to hedge or expose themselves to a particular asset, but who are not interested in delivering or receiving the underlying product. Whew. I mean, this is all just consistently, you know, we're talking about adoption of cryptocurrency, guys, in the traditional financial system. I mean, SWIFT, as most of us know, really is kind of all the money from a payments messaging standpoint. To start having cryptocurrencies integrated, which is 100% what's happening here. We can see ISO 24165 is 1,000% crypto assets integrated into the traditional financial system. You can even delve even deeper and say that it's basically going to be utilized, this digital token identifier, it's just one of the building blocks that's going to be utilized to upgrade the plumbing of the entire financial system as we know it right now. We can see XRP up here. We know, you know, top 100 assets, but they're going to be looking for highly liquid assets to bridge. This appears to be more of kind of a bridging mechanism to me without necessarily having to touch or settle in XRP, which I know is going to be interesting for people to think on. I know that a lot of it's, you know, XRP will be the settlement mechanism. And these non-deliverable forwards, I think, is what SWIFT is pretty much doing here for illiquid corridors, or potentially to hedge, or potentially to gain exposure to digital assets that can potentially bridge between two different corridors in a foreign exchange transaction more efficiently. So massive, 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 massive information here. ISO 4217, this is just showing you guys that these are kind of the national codes for fiat, the USD, Euro, etc., etc. Category 3, we can see right here from what was posted before. MT 300, 304, 305, and 306 are what's going to be affected. 300 is foreign exchange confirmation. 304 is advice/instruction on a third-party deal. 305 is foreign currency option. 306 is foreign currency option confirmation. All right, on the back of that, real quick, QNB, the largest financial institution in the Middle East and Africa, launching direct remittance service for money transfers from Qatar to the Philippines, makes it the first bank in Qatar to launch the service. To provide this, QNB is connecting with China Bank, one of the leading private universal banks in the Philippines, through RippleNet, the financial technology powered by leading enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions provider Ripple. New service will provide the bank's customers with a convenient remittance experience and a fast cross-border money transfer solution. QNB, the latest first-to-market solution, complements the bank's efforts to improve cross-border payments, upholding its leadership position in Qatar in the sector of money transfer. The service, which mainly targets Philippine nationals in Qatar, will allow them to make fund transfers up to Philippine pesos 50,000 to any bank in the Philippines in real time. All transactions above 50,000 pesos percent prior to the cutoff time will be credited on the next day. We also have DTCC putting out something a couple of days ago, revisiting interconnectedness, emerging risks in the global financial system, cross-border exposures, etc., etc. Financial technology, crypto capitalization. I see Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Ripple symbols there. Moving forward, yeah, I think that's it. Again, guys, you know, this information coming out of SWIFT is, in my opinion, massive. We already knew, you know, blockchain wallets, and now essentially they're directly talking about digital assets potentially being utilized for non-deliverable trade, which I believe is this non-deliverable forwards, or maybe it's non-deliverable options. There's one or two things that could happen here. And it's massive. I mean, it's coming. I know that this market sucks right now. I know with all the macro stuff, the Fed tightening, everything else, a lot of people think we're going to go way lower, and that's, if we do, it's going to be an opportunity, not financial advice. But the writing's on the wall where this space goes. The writing's on the wall or how digital assets are going to integrate into the financial system, and you could even see it. This is going to be used to basically update it's going to be used to underpin and update the plumbing of the traditional financial system. Everything's going to interoperate, and highly efficient utility-driven assets that are highly liquid are going to be utilized in the traditional financial system. And with clear regulations, just watch and see what happens with some of these. In my opinion, it's going to be absolutely massive. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you when I talk to you. Bye.